Welcome to Under the Hood with Logic IO, a series where we give you an inside look on how Logic supports various industries and use cases. Today, we're going to be discussing and showing how Logic empowers manufacturers to create complex BOM configurations with CPQ. My name is Emma Gaquin. I am the Director of Demand Generation here at Logic IO, and I am joined by John Lerkine, the Director of Salesforce Practice with our partner Pierce Washington, who will be showing you, or walking you rather, through our demo today. To set the stage, I'll give a brief intro to Logic IO for BOM generation, and then John will walk you through the demo, and then we'll be taking any questions that you might have. Few housekeeping notes before we get into it. This demo is being recorded and will be sent to your inboxes within 24 hours. So no worries if you have to jump or you weren't able to make it. We would like this to be as interactive as possible. So please place any questions into the chat or the Q&A box. I'll filter through them and answer them live. If they seem a bit more nuanced, we'll make sure that you get the answer in the follow-up as well. All right, let's hop into it. So we get asked all the time, how can I seamlessly generate my production and downstream data within the quoting process? I'm going to talk about a couple roadblocks that we commonly see in manufacturing when it comes to complex configuration and BOM generation. First, it's vital to have a streamlined and accurate production BOMs that are generated in order to have accurate production planning, cost estimation, and ensure your suppliers have proper inventory. You stay compliant and have accurate routing. Second, there's a significant operational challenges, and there's often a manual process to generate these BOMs. We see complex product structures, manual data translation, excessive quote lines in CPQ, and it's complicated to coordinate inventory with your suppliers. Third, companies are often forced to use disparate configurators. An example that we often see is when companies are having a CPQ configurator for sales and a separate ERP configurator for manufacturing materials. That means redundant rules management, and it also leaves rooms for inaccuracy. How do we address that? With Logic, you're able to consolidate your configurators so you can generate your sales quote and manufacturing BOM all in one go. You can see a high level in this diagram here that users will make selections, and then based on your predetermined rules, items will be added to the sales BOM and the manufacturing BOM, all while keeping the quote line editor updated in real time. This is allowing you to pass your data to your ERP. These systems are working seamlessly in a way that enables the sales reps not only to quote items that are available for your supplier's inventory, but also keeping your data all streamlined and in one place. I'm going to hand it over to John to show you this process in real time. John, take it away.
All right, thanks, Emma. Let me go ahead and grab the screen here. Perfect. What we're going to look through here today is a strategic account that I have forecasted in my CRM as an opportunity for pyramid construction. And underneath this opportunity that we have in our proposal and quote stage here is a primary quote within CPQ where we're starting to select the right products and price and really forecast that overall opportunity. Underneath this, in this quote, we can, of course, start to recognize the quote lines that are starting to be driven, that are holding pricing, and all of that sales bill of material. Behind the scenes, we're going to look at how Logic can not only generate this sales bill of material, but also the manufacturing bill of material that can drive production and routing information that can be passed downstreams for that full bill of materials definition. So to look at this, we're going to jump into CPQ and start to look at how Logic can start to drive that configuration for both bill of materials there seamlessly in one experience. So inside Logic, for my specific product we have here, we're starting to put together the components and fill out the information that again is driving our priced pump here. As I start to add in stands or connectors or change the overall construction of that product, the priced items will update in my sales bill of material, rolling up to that overall price and giving me that total for this specific product. But also behind the scenes, Logic is running the detailed information to start to drive what is that manufacturing bill of material at the parts level, as well as handling any routing instructions to understand production capabilities. And so as we start to look at the different layouts here, we can swap between that sales instructions and also the manufacturing bill of material. So looking at what are the subcomponents in the impeller assembly and the shaft sleeve, all the way down to looking at what are the number of hex bolts overall included in this manufacturing bill of material. This is where we can bring detailed information into that configuration experience right at the time of quoting, so that we can start to drive dynamic routing, dynamic production based on the configuration that we're putting together at the time of quoting. Traditionally, what we see is with customers that have, an ERP configurator that's handling this bill of materials explosion, and then there's usually a sales configurator up front inside your CRM. What this does is this really complicates the overall rules management for this configuration. And with Logic, we can bring those two systems into one, really driving a seamless experience across both manufacturing and sales bill of materials here inside Salesforce. So as I save this back and start to look at this updated quote, all of this information is going to land inside Salesforce, where we can start to, again, leverage and see the sales bill of material and also the manufacturing bill of material now recognized here on each quote. So bringing together, again, that data that starts to populate inside CPQ for those quote lines, as well as the configuration line items that Emma talked about for those manufacturing bill of materials. Now, again, by bringing this level of information onto the Salesforce platform, we have a lot more detail around this level of configuration around this product. It's this kind of information that starts to drive better attribution for our business across the entire business. Starting to look at what are the specific components that make up this product. And, if we're starting to look at marketing campaigns or any information, we can start to attribute specific how products are actually made to actually those campaigns. With this information also, we can start to experiment and start to look at having that bill of materials on Salesforce as we're starting to get cases in that might be product defects or any information that the product team may want to look at. Being able to report based on those cases and being able to see those granular level of information starts to drive better value for your business and starts to give that feedback loop all within inside Salesforce. So again, really having this level of information inside Salesforce is a major differentiator and starts to drive not only the information we can capture in the quoting process, but also as we start to move downstream and look at our opportunities here, these quotes will eventually turn into orders where we can start to see that information start to take place and start to drive better payload information that is eventually sent down to the ERP system. So overall, what we're really seeing here is, the ability to generate this level of data starts to drive better forecasting for our supply as we're starting to connect supply chain processes like inventory checks, like production, fulfillment, all of that to what was sold in the quoting process. So being able to forecast the parts and information here inside Salesforce, driving available to promise processes and bringing that information back so we can start to deliver where is my order to my customer and start to really give those fulfillment processes better visibility through portals and experiences for our customers and third-party channel sales. So again, with the information that we're starting to drive through this configuration, we can be sure that we know exactly what are the parts that are going into that product, how they're going to be made, and when they're going to be made, to start to drive better visibility and data across your organization. From here, again, this data is fully available to start to look at across the customer lifecycle. So as we saw, we can start to look at sales and manufacturing bill of materials at the quoting process for those pre-flight, in-flight opportunities that we are working. We can start to drive better visibility around order management and the information that we are passing down to the ERP system, as well as we start to contract this and actually deliver these products, tracking the asset and the asset hierarchy of what is actually included in that overall product. Again, gives you better visibility into what your customers own and how they're going to be serviced as that goes forward. So really, by combining the sales and manufacturing bill of materials, again, here on the Salesforce platform, we're really enriching that data and really providing more information that can streamline operations that cross between marketing, sales, service, and production in the downstream systems. Through this demo, again, we really just wanted to make sure that you guys understand how powerful this is and really looking at, again, simplifying our overall tech stack with driving these multiple bill of materials out of one tool like Logic.io. So with that simple webinar, simple demonstration webinar, I'm going to pass it actually back to you and we'll get some questions here.
Awesome. Thank you, John. Great. So I had a couple questions come in. First being, where is the pricing information held in this example for the components?
Yep, that's a great question. So pricing for the components certainly can be pulled from many different sources. In this case, we are pulling those component pricing from our Salesforce price list. But of course, if you had an external system or that ERP system that was holding those pricing, we certainly could look at bringing that into Logic in terms of how we map those rules between your ERP and that system in Logic. So a couple options, but certainly we see Salesforce as being an option, or your ERP system where you may be mastering that.
Another one, is it possible to limit the BOM view so that sales managers can't view all the component level information?
Absolutely. So with the flexibility of Logic, being able to drive what layout is being shown to what user is a capability that we can configure in the tool. So really not being able to show that layout changer or even driving to the exact layout you want based on that user persona, those are options that we can certainly include in Logic.io.
Thanks, John. Another question, does Logic.io use new components entirely, or does it rely on product as a base component?
Maybe I'm not catching the nuance of that, but maybe we could follow up on that one, Emma.
Perfect. Yeah, Alex, we'll follow up with you separately. I owe you some links as well. Does Logic.io have the ability to hold pricing details and pricing rules?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yep. That's a simple one.
Like I can answer that one. We've gotten a couple others that I want to give a more nuanced answer and follow up. So I will answer those post. I'll give it a couple more seconds if there's any other questions, but if I haven't answered your questions, assume it means you're going to get a nice long email detailing it. What BOM governance issues does Logic implementation drive between Logic and the ERP?
Yeah, that's a great question. So again, by implementing your configuration rules inside Logic, we really simplify the information in the ERP. So really by driving that sales and manufacturing bill of materials inside Logic and Salesforce with the advanced solving engine and Logic's advanced solving engine with rules, we really can start to put governance around those rules. And then within Salesforce CPQ, the approvals process really starts to drive who needs to be involved in that overall deal as we're starting to execute that. So if there are production teams that need to review, the estimated lead time, or what machine was actually going to be driving that based on the recommended options, those are certain things that could be stepped in and looked at from an approval process during the quoting motion.
Awesome. Thank you. Just doing one more scan. I do have a question that I'm just going to, does this platform have e-commerce ability, the ability to purchase to complete the order? Yes, we are e-commerce compatible as well. And we can share that, or you can find that on our site. We have a demo actually talking about our e-commerce capabilities. Wonderful. Thank you all for taking the time today for this quick little deep dive into logic. John, thank you as well for showcasing the demo. We will be following up with you if you asked a more nuanced question, as well as sharing this recording with everyone who registered. And other than that, have an awesome day, and we will see you soon. Bye.